Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Comes to you live from our comfy couch here in the outskirts of the internet. This is the Gaming Saloon Reviews for September 19th, 2022, with your host, Space Record 2448, and Ramp It Up Salon.
I probably should get a new image because I know there's one with the season 2 characters.
Ah, you mean the same cast plus Godot? Because I believe that's honestly the only main difference between the main cast. It's just here we have Godot now.
Well, no, the one that I grabbed doesn't have Pearl.
Oh, does it have Francesca?
Nope.
Oh,
because I didn't bother to update with mid-season.
Oh, okay. So it's not even a proper season 1. It's pre-season 1.
Because typically I only do these when we change shows.
Yeah.
So yeah, didn't think about it this time.
But yeah, folks, it is Ace Attorney again, but this time we're moving into season 2. Essentially, how do you like the third game? Because most of season 2 is the third game. Outside of the one of two cases that we get to talk about, or outside of two cases, one of which we get to talk about today, which is the tutorial case of the second game. Would you care to guess which one it is?
Sorry, repeat the question. I was digging up an image.
Oh, okay. Would you care to guess which case that we're talking about this week is the tutorial case for the second game?
Oh, I mean, that one's a given.
Yeah, there's only so many ways for us to do a tutorial with Phoenix. So we kind of have to make him have a bit of memory loss real quick so we can actually do that.
Yeah. Got it. It's painful.
But yeah, in terms of full episode count, it is 25 through 29. And in terms of just season 2's episode count, this is episodes 1 through 5. So this is the Lost Turnabout in the Stolen Turnabout. But before we get into that, any thoughts on Geats this past week?
Also better. But I mean, besides the fact of we're gonna have people dead, I'm full on expecting the first Grand Prix for the show to be done probably before Christmas break.
I'll be honest, if it does, I'll be surprised.
I'm almost feeling like this is more designed to be set up for the things to come. Mainly, in a sense, like how Gaim was.
Yeah.
Because, you know, we kind of had the dance battle stuff that led into the rest of the show. And that's kind of what this feels like, is the filler. We're going to use this to do backstory stuff. I'm not going to say there won't be a second one, but I don't think, if we get to in the show, I don't think it's going to be a case of that's going to be the focus on the back half.
Yeah.
I think that's simply going to be so everyone has a belt.
Also, I assume Nako's desire is not her prince, right? That's an act, right?
I feel like that is an act. Because she later is like, no, that's not it, kind of deal.
I feel like she's playing to stereotype just to play to stereotype.
That's kind of what it felt like.
Mm-hmm.
I'm almost thinking that hers probably is to probably create a world where she can just be herself.
Can I get rid of my shitty family and not deal with them on a daily basis? Yes? Alright, cool. Can I keep my bodyguards though? Because I can't get rid of Tom Constantine. We can't do that. That'd be a crime. For those wondering, Tom Constantine is one of her 2 bodyguards. The other one, I believe, is the chief from Lupat. I think it's that actor. I'd have to double check real quick. But both of them, I believe, are originate from America, so that's why they speak English fairly good. But they do a lot of acting in Japan. Well, in Tom Constantine's case, he does a lot of stunt work and stuff. He normally doesn't do a lot of acting, but I guess he's a reoccurring character now in Geats, which good on him. No, that's not him. Then who's the other bodyguard? Because I feel like I recognize them. Okay, they're played by a different actor in general. Okay. I could have swore, like, the way he had his hair and stuff done, it seemed like he was the chief from Lupat, but apparently I'm wrong. But yeah, I guess we're not getting a Desire Grand Prix ending at Christmas, because I figured that would be the case. Because we would get one to end Christmas, one to end the mid-season, and then one in the show in general. So we get 3. But I guess we'll get 4? Or do you think we're going to get more than that?
No, I think what you said's probably on par. The only thing is I might actually be like less. I could see the one before Christmas, because we're definitely moving way too quick for that to drag on beyond that. But I honestly think if we have a second one, it's gonna take the entire back half, and it's simply gonna be a case of we need to give these people a belt.
Yep.
Because I don't think it's gonna be a focal point going for the back half.
Because it feels like they're being weirdly conservative on throwing buckles at us. And maybe it's because it's such a large cast, we can like spread them out amongst them and have them all be at the same time without it being overwhelming. Because we only have, the 3 main buckles and then a bunch of the armed ones, which apparently aren't even technically forms, according to like the simulator, the official Geats form simulator. Those aren't even technically forms. They're just like extra things on top of the entry suit or whatever other suit, essentially.
I could see that. Because, I mean, really, for the most part, they've been that way.
Yeah.
Because I'm sitting thinking about previous shows. Really, the early quote-unquote forms really just overlap on top of the base suit. So really what we've considered forms isn't any different than how these are being treated.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you could technically either go, these are forms too, or none of them are actually forms.
Yeah. Which I like that they are continuing to be like, Geets is not allowed to have his main form. No, we keep those buckles away from the buckles away from him. He has to use other stuff.
I love how they managed to keep both of them away from him.
Yeah, because he uses neither of them this week. He just uses zombie, which I didn't realize the detail on the damn tombstones for the finisher. Holy shit. It has Dapon's name on the tombstone. Like his writer name and his real name. And it's like, damn. Geets, chill. You're not actually going to murder him, right?
I mean, he probably would.
Of course.
We're at the point where you're supposed to hate him.
Yeah, I hear that all the time from Charizard whenever he drops by. I'm just like, I like this show, but Geets is such a dick. And I'm like, yeah, you are kind of meant to hate Geets at the moment, but it's clear I don't know.
It's
I don't know if I want to call it.
It's written in a way where it is full on intentional.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so in your face that you're supposed to hate him right now that you kind of know you shouldn't.
Yeah.
Because there's a reason behind it. And that's the thing that probably could have changed our opinion on Kabuto if it was wrote this way.
Yeah, because Tendo has none of that.
Yeah, none of it. And I'm like, dang, I want to hate him, but I feel like this is being so blatant in your face with it that I know I can't.
And also the fact that, like, we see from the episode preview that Nago is getting the Boost Rise buckle next week. And also, I want to point out a kind of a little detail on the helmets. We see on Dapon's helmet, his eyes are like fully covered by whatever root, whatever you want to call it, on the eyes, showing he's like fully zombified and stuff. Nago doesn't have that. Her eyes are only partially covered, and not even as much. So even at that point in the episode, when that happens, she's not even really that hard taken over, I would think.
I feel like we're gonna have one of two things happen. The boost buckle is either gonna accelerate it, and we're gonna have two characters die by the end of next episode. Or some kind of screwed up something that property that the boost buckle has is gonna burn it out over. Because I swear boost feels like it's that wild card. It can do what the writers want it to do. And I like and hate that at the same time, because that also means that we could solve problems and just fix anything that could potentially be going wrong. But I kind of feel like we're getting one of the two things. Either way, someone's dying next week. That's all there is to it.
I just assume it's Dapon. Like, we're not. I just.
The question is, are they going to pull the trigger and make it a double kill, or are they going to just go with the single and be happy?
I think it's just going to be Dapon next week. Because either the week after or the week after that, essentially either as a single episode next week or week after, or as a part of a two-parter, Mary goes next.
I can see it.
Because that would put us down to what? Pretty much our core 4 writers of the show.
Yeah.
And then it's them.
AKA the 4 that have had the focal point.
Right. And then it'll be them for a little bit because we already have, I believe it's a vinyl with Tycoon's upper rise buckle. I wonder if I can find that real quick. Because we've already got a picture of that, so that is coming. And, you know, Tycoon's not dying before he gets that. And I know from Toy Information that Nako's getting a upper rise, like an upper armor rise buckle. That's apparently supposed to give her a big old axe because, yes, give the girl a big ass axe to cleave people's heads off. That sounds good. I'm on board.
Well, we have 13 episodes before the Christmas break.
Mm-hmm.
One of them, more than likely, is going to be some kind of Christmas special. Let's just be real.
Mm-hmm.
The question's going to be, do they use that to mark the end, or is that going to be our filler in between episode?
Yeah.
So, how I look at it, we've probably got 12 episodes. Someone's dying next week. Can they support the show only having 4? Let's say they do a 2-parter to kill off one more person. Are they gonna have enough content to do 4 writers over 10 episodes for this?
Well, I think it's going to be a case of Buffa's still an enigma. So, unless him and Mary, because I've seen speculation that him and Mary are going to be kind of the focus after this, since, you know, we kind of got Nago and Dapan, and then, what was it? Essentially, we got Geets Tycoon for a couple episodes, then it was now Dapan and Nago. The next one's going to be like Buffa and Mary. Is kind of the pairing in a sense. Also, I posted the picture of Tycoon's form in the chat. That is his form and his weapon. Which, yes, is a bow that splits apart into swords, and his buckle is apparently the ninja buckle.
Actually, you know what? They would have enough content for 4. For 4 writers over 10 more episodes. Each of them have a 2-parter.
To get their like new buckles, essentially.
Yep, and to give us backstory, a little bit more about them and what their actual desire is.
Yeah, because
right now we really don't know what everyone put down. We can make good assumptions.
We know what Tycoon wrote, because I believe it was clearly shown what he wrote.
But outside of that, I mean, yeah, we really don't know. And I'm gonna go out on a limb. If that happens, Ace is gonna be the last one.
Probably because it'll be a case of Tycoon gets his debut with his, because since we have images of his stuff, his is coming first. Naga will be next to get hers top part, but then Buffa's going to get his second to get his kind of complete base form. And then pretty much the finale is, or the finale of this first Grand Prix is Geets versus Buffa, because something Tycoon and Nako are out of contention. It's a showdown between the two of them, and whatever happens, Geets wins, thereby nullifying my first prediction. I'm gonna be so annoyed if that happens.
I hate being this way, but I get the feeling that he probably will. And I purely say that because I have to wonder if this has went on in the past prior to him winning.
Mm-hmm.
How has no one ever thought to desire for a world where, you know, there was no fighting?
Right.
That would nullify any future Grand Prix. There's a reason why he's letting it keep going.
There's speculation I've seen that essentially Geets has won the Desire Grand Prix several times over. And each time he's won, his Desire has been kind of pushing what is capable for your Desire. Kind of just testing the limits to see, like, all right, what can I actually wish for this time? And see what's really capable of.
Which,
and maybe
why he went from a nobody to a big time celebrity.
The star of the stars of the stars.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Like, he's testing scenarios to be like, all right, how far can I push this? Before they're just like, no. Because, again, there's something more at play. He's, I think, after somebody. The subs I had, which I forgot who they were at the moment. I don't know whose subs you watched.
I don't honestly know who's doing the subgroup for that one.
There's like 6 groups, and apparently all of them have little changes in the subs. So there's little different interpretations going on. But mine had him say that he's after someone specifically, that he's trying to drag somebody out. And if I were to guess, it's someone higher up in the Desire Grand Prix that is responsible for whatever fucked up backstory thing happened to him.
I kind of get that, because it feels like he's trying to bait someone out.
Mm-hmm.
But he's also trying to go about it solo.
Right, which is going to be his downfall, because he's going to be like, ah, fuck, I can't do this solo.
And I'm almost thinking that's what's going to lead to him winning the first one. And then in the next iteration, which I'm willing to bet will probably go till the end of the show. It might not, but I'm willing to bet it will. That's probably going to be when we start seeing more team-based stuff.
Yeah, we get a more squad-based Desire Grand Prix rather than a solo-based Desire Grand Prix.
Because I'm wondering if that might be his next play.
Mm-hmm.
They've let him do everything else. What if he changes the game?
Mm-hmm.
Because I get the feeling the fame and fortune change this time around might have been okay, they're letting me push anything in the physical world. What about in the game world?
Yeah. Can I make the game be about squads? Because I feel like to support, a full 48 episode run, going off the team idea, that's a perfect way to keep the focus on our main characters, but give us new people for them to interact with and lets us have character development in that they each get squads of randos to work with, and we'll have emotional moments as they get killed off.
The only, and I mean this completely serious, the only downside to that is our rider counts are gonna be freaking busted.
I'm aware. That's why I think only a 3-man squad per our main character, per our main 4, mind you. I think that's what's going to happen. Is that we're primarily going to focus on our main 4. They're each going to get 2 to 3 people for a squad.
I don't think they're each going to. I think we technically see a 3-man squad, with one of the 4 being that antagonistic force.
Yeah.
And you know which one.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I think it's gonna land.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I'm right on the 10 episodes being for the 4 main ones there, I think each of them are gonna have a 2-parter. I think the final 2-parter might be the first part of it being Geets trying to solo win, only to find out that he's barely keeping up and that he needs backup kind of deal.
Yeah.
For us to see that first arc of, oh wait, what about teams? Because I'm almost wondering if that whole friendly fire comment that we were hearing, I'm almost wondering if that loosely means the rules allows teams.
That's what I'm thinking too. Because there's also an assist one as well, because the subs I watched had a full translation for the rules. And or not the rules, but the point system. Let me grab. This isn't the one from the subs I had, but it's a version of it from another subgroup. But yeah, you get what is it, 100 points for an assist? Yeah, a kill's 1,000, a rescue's 3,000, headshots 2, backshot 2, 2 combo 5, 3 combo 7, assist 100, special move combination 1,000, so essentially pop a finisher, you get 1,000 points. First blood's 200, one shot 500, long shot 300, point blank 400, no damage 400, revolve change is 100 points, so if you just spin your belt forever, you just keep getting points. No weapon kill is 200. Overkill is minus 800. Leaving the area is minus 1500. Attacking other players is minus 2000. And sabotage is minus 1000. So you can't even outright sabotage people. So you can't even indirectly fuck with people. You have to pretty much not fuck with people in either a direct or indirect manner.
Yeah, that's completely making me wonder if... Yeah, that's gonna be the goal. This first one's gonna end relatively early.
Yeah.
Because the idea is gonna be team-based. The real question's gonna be, is Geats gonna win or not?
Yeah. I think I'm also kind of wanting the squad thing to also happen, because I kind of want Nago to have a squad of female writers with her, because I think that would be a fun thing. Maybe that's me.
I don't think they're gonna pull the trigger on it though.
I know. They're cowards.
I don't think we're gonna have it that way.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna have something like that, but not that way.
Yeah, I'm sad because I'm looking at Girls Remix where it's just like, yeah, we got a bunch of female writers and major female supporting characters together for this 3-episode special. That was really good and really fun. Why can't we have that in the main show? Why can't we just have a squad of female writers kicking ass in Geats? Anywho, anything else on Geats before we get to Ace Attorney?
No.
All right, then. It is, like I said, 25 to 29 or 1 through 5 of season 2. Real quick, how did you feel about our new opening?
At first, meh. By the end of the 5 episodes, I'm fine with it.
Yeah, like I said, musically, it is my favorite opening, because I think I like this song the best of the 3. Visually, it's fucking nonsense. It is just visual nonsense, because I don't know what the fuck it's trying to communicate as someone who knows the events of the 3rd game, because none of that lines up. None of it. It's just nonsense. It's even worse when we get to the 4th opening, because I think that's even more visually confusing. Did you end up feeling the same way, or did you just not pay attention?
I mean, I tried to kind of pay attention, but I'm like, eh.
Fair.
I feel like the opening fits more around the song more so than the show.
Yeah.
And that might be what they were going for.
Mm-hmm.
But it also feels like an odd choice.
Mm-hmm. I think having the entire 2nd season be the 3rd game, I'm like, I wish the opening was more focused on like what the 3rd game is trying to do story-wise. Unfortunately, we can't even get into that just yet, because we're not even at the point where that's honestly really relevant. Not even with Stolen Turnabout, which is technically the 2nd game of the 3rd, or 2nd case of the 3rd game. Like, this is not even the 1st case with Stolen. So we're not even starting off how the 3rd game started. But anywho, shall we get into the episodes proper then?
I guess so.
All right, we kick off with episode 25, The Lost Turnabout. So we follow up with Phoenix Wright, who's going to be doing, like he's doing here, a lot of monologuing to more or less reintroduce characters and stuff, because there was a break between the 1st and 2nd season. I forget how long of a break it was, but this is to reintroduce you to Phoenix, Maya, Pearl, essentially the Ace Attorney universe in a sense, over the course of the first couple episodes or so.
And the gameplay.
Yep, to get you back in the groove of things. So we see him kind of do his usual monologue thing as he preps for his next case, and then he gets a phone call from on the phone that he has as evidence, and then he gets knocked out by a fucking fire extinguisher. And the phone gets stolen. And this is when we see Phoenix Wright have a bit of a nightmare from his time in Marvel vs. Capcom 3, because the judge is going to beat the shit out of him with his gavel. That's his level 2 super, for anyone wondering. That's when he meets his client, Mackie Bird, aka Mako Suzuki, that he also just doesn't remember because, oh no, Phoenix has amnesia and is going to be bad at his job. Kind of.
I mean, is he really?
No. He's pretty much on par. He's just on autopilot and doesn't realize it.
Yep.
So our trial this time, Mackie has been accused of murder, specifically of her boyfriend, aka, which is Dustin Prince, aka Mamoru Nachio. They were both police officers. They were out on a date on her day off at a local park, and he was found dead at the bottom or off over this railing with his neck broken by the fall. Gumshoe's the one that gives us all these basics on the case, and he's very sad about it because Mackie is more or less his pupil. Also, Winston Payne is here once more because it's a tutorial case of Ace Attorney. Winston Payne must take the loss and job out clean. He apparently wrote Maggie's name in the ground. I want to make a note here that how it is spelled in the sand is Maggie, but her name is spelled Maggey. That's going to get brought up here in a minute. Also, supposedly her glasses, according to her ID, were found under Dustin's body, which the show coincidentally broke her pair recently. So, oops. Apparently Mackie just has terrible bad luck. AKA, she has Ryutaro bad luck. But Wright pretty much stumbles his way through the case by going, yeah, the glasses aren't enough, as you keep saying maybe and might be hers, and with no proof. Like, could you not check the prescription on the glasses to see if it matches what she should have?
I mean, you could, but that would make sense.
Yeah. And also they bring up the point of her name being spelled wrong in the sand. So, that's when Payne brings out a bright-ass yellow baseball glove that, as it turns out, is for a left-handed pitcher, a southpaw, if you will, which Dustin was, meaning, why the fuck would he write Maggie's name not only wrong, but with his non-dominant hand as he died from a broken neck? So Winston, in a desperate attempt, calls his witness Richard Wellington, aka Takamasa Morihia, a drifter / college student / just an asshole. He's just a dickhead. But he claims to have seen the murder and that the victim fell with a bundle of bananas as it happened. And Phoenix is like, oh, bananas, if you will. Would you like a banana then? As he shoves the baseball glove in his head, in his face. So, yeah, this guy's got poor eyesight. I wonder why. So, Wright hammers him on that. And once we get the info about him looking for his lost phone that was picked up by our pair, he pretty much has the case figured out. But motive gets called in. Except Maya now shows up. to be like, hey, here's the list of numbers that were on that phone, and it's all con artists, meaning this guy murdered this cop because he thought the cop would check the phone numbers on this random lost phone. Why the fuck would he? But at this point, Wellington tries to go, no, I have my lost phone. See, it's right here. And it's the same model of phone as Phoenix has in court. And as it turns out, the guy only stole Phoenix's phone and wiped the numbers from it because Maya calls the phone. And as it turns out, it ends up calling the phone in Wellington's hands. So guy is smoked on that. So he confesses. Case is closed. Maggie decides to leave the police force and goes find work elsewhere because reasons we'll find out later this season. And Phoenix teases Maya a bit about not remembering her, even though he does, because at this point, Phoenix remembers everything. So that's the Lost Turnabout. Any thoughts on Lost Turnabout?
I kind of feel conflicted. I feel like that was a good idea to give him amnesia to kind of drive the point of this is tutorial.
Right.
But yeah, it also feels very super convenient.
And kind of fillery.
Yep.
Yeah. Not the best opening. Honestly, this should have been in last season, and we should have just opened with the tutorial of the third game. Which let me make sure I'm thinking of the correct case. Because it's Trials and Tribulations, for anyone's wondering. Yeah, it's Turnabout Memories is the tutorial case of the game. Which, honestly, we should have just went in game order of Turnabout Memories, Stolen Turnabout, Recipe for Turnabout, Turnabout Beginnings, and then Bridge to Turnabout, which, you know, we get that order in this, except for Turnabout Memories is inserted in the middle. Because weirdly, the third game is a little bit more cohesive in terms of the story it's telling.
Makes sense.
Because Turnabout Memories, Stolen Turnabout, Turnabout for Beginnings, and Bridge to the Turnabout are all connected in a sense. They all have something connecting them together. Recipe is kind of the odd one out because the middle case is always the odd one out in Ace Attorney games. But yeah, it's weird and dumb. Anyway, shall we move on to Stolen Turnabout then?
I guess so.
All right, we kick off with episode 26, Stolen Turnabout, part 1, because I'm just going to call it parts, because look, it's the same episode, the same episode title, like just first trial, second trial, but I'm just going to call them by their parts. So, Gumshoe and the police are trying to stop the Phantom Thief, Mask Damask, aka Kaijin Common Mask, which means he's just Kaijin Mask. Thus, his dub name, his English name being Mask Damask, which is honestly good on them for getting the pun. But they don't stop him from stealing whatever was in this guy's safe and running off. This is where we catch up with Wright and Maya. They were just trying to find things to do to busy himself because they have no case at the moment. But Pearl drops by to show them this exhibit on the village. And they got the Ami urn on display. Unfortunately, as they turn on the news, they are informed that Damask has stolen the urn. Therefore, the three head to the exhibit in pursuit. Meanwhile, we can introduce the Godot, aka Godot. He's having a drink of coffee at a local bar. Godot, I forget how extra Godot is at times.
Yep.
Him
Same.
and his mystery bartender in the court. Because they refuse to explain who keeps sliding him glasses or cups of coffee in court. And I appreciate that. Like, no, we are not explaining where he keeps getting these cups of coffee from. He just does. But at the exhibit, they run into Adrian from, at the timeline of this game, 6 months ago case with Farewell My Turnabout. It's essentially, I think, been, 2 years since the first case we went through? Is what the show said?
Yes.
Yeah. So it's been 6 months since more or less the end of season 1. But she's running in the event after all her trial stuff. She's also sorry about the theft, and also that the urn has no apparent value. Which, damn. I would think it would be worth something. But in the basement, they run into Gumshoe, who's there to investigate the theft as well. There's also a random splotch of pink paint and a moved statue of Ami Faye at a place. Those are all clues for later, as Luke Adamy, aka Aiga Hoshidake, a private detective, arrives. This extra motherfucker. Man has to chew the scenery everywhere he goes. But he's a private detective, like I said, and also Damask's rival, and has been thwarting his crimes and returning items as he does. He was apparently guarding the urn alone, and then had a battle with the mask, but the mask got away. That's when Gumshoe gets a call about the mask giving himself up to the police, and our trio head to the detention center to go meet him. They end up finding Ron the Light, aka Yusaku Amasugi. He's a bit on the shy side, but he claims to be the mask for real, despite, all appearances. Also, he apparently stole the urn, but lost it on the subway. Hypothetically, I guess. He lost it somewhere. But this is when his wife, Desiri the Light, shows up, aka Marika Amasugi. She wants to hire Phoenix to defend Ron because she doesn't believe that Ron is actually the mask. He's just a big fan of the mask. So Phoenix does agree eventually, and this upsets Pearl because he's supposedly defending the person that stole the urn to start with. So Pearl runs off, and then Maya runs off with her because she's also a little upset about it. So our trio is separate for the moment. This leads them to investigating the lights, whereas Phoenix goes to Luke's office. At the office, Phoenix finds a bag that has a large, smooth object within, but he can't confirm what it is because Luke shows up and they chat for a bit. Meanwhile, Maya and Pearl find a letter amongst some books and stuff, and also spot a very specific person at the front door talking to the Zeri. I wonder who it could be. Larry, you fuck up, you. At least your fuck up helped this time. But The investigation is over with, and as Luke informs Phoenix, he's facing Godot in court as the prosecutor because Miles speaks highly of Godot, apparently, for someone who, as we'll find out, has never prosecuted the case ever. Therefore, he's unbeatable. That's not how that works. It's not how that works at all, Godot. But that'll take us to the second part of Stolen Turnabout, episode 27. We start actually out of court with Phoenix ready to face the trial alone because he's like, oh, my Emperor are upset at me. They kind of have a right to, but oh well. They're actually not that far behind him, surprisingly. But in court, Godot gets his coffee bucks from a phantom bartender. And he calls Ron to the stand to testify. Also, like I said, it's his first case, meaning he's undefeated. Totally, 100%. That's what undefeated means, right? You've just never been beaten. It doesn't matter if you've never actually faced someone in court. But we get a photo of Damask stealing the urn, sans his brooch, which Phoenix brings up, meaning it can't be Ron. But Godot is 10 steps ahead of him, but he's like, oh yeah, I already found the brooch. So, no. Maya and Pearl then arrive with Larry as a witness. He's got Ron's wallet and a keycard from KB Security, which Ron used to work at, and Larry found the wallet outside of KB Security. And the keycard was apparently used, and with the logs they have, shows that Ron was in the CEO's office at the time of the theft. Meaning Ron couldn't have stolen the urn! Which should shatter Godot's case, which he's entirely okay with because he already saw this coming, because he already has the log showing that Ron was at the CEO's office to start with. So, with all this in play, Phoenix demands that Luke takes the stand to answer for the theft because he's the only one that could have stolen the urn at this point. Phoenix tries to push Luke, but he's just resisting and doesn't give in. He only gets a coffee cup to the face, which I think is the only time Godot throws a coffee cup at Phoenix in this season. I think. I might be wrong on that. But that's when Zeri arrives with the urn, saying she took it from Luke's office, which the judge is willing to dismiss because, well, you could have also taken it from your home to here and said you took it from Luke's office, so that proves nothing. But Phoenix is like, aha, but my prints are on it because I touched it when it was at Luke's office, and I was there the other day. So, aha! So this finally breaks Luke, and he cops to the theft, and Ron is declared not guilty. Unfortunately, this was all according to plan, because in the lobby later, Godot shows up with cops being like, yeah, by the way, the CEO of KB Security, Kane Bullard, aka Kurobe Bushijima, was found dead in his office this morning, and the time of death is about the same time as Ron being there. Therefore, since you helped me prove that Ron had to be at the CEO's office instead of stealing the urn, he's now charged with murder. I hope you're okay with that. And that is how we end part 2. So how do you feel halfway through Stolen Turnabout?
Oof.
Yeah. Godot over here, calm as fuck as his case shatters because, oh no, I was prepping for a bigger case and this is all just to get me the ability to charge him with murder. Because, yeah, Godot has it out for Phoenix hard, and we'll see why later. Like, much later. But any other thoughts before we get back in the episodes?
No.
All right, then we'll kick it off with part 3 in episode 28. So our trio regroup at the office. Pearl decides to take the urn back to the village to authenticate it, make sure it's the real one, while Phoenix and Maya investigate because Pearl once more is shipping the pair of them because Pearl is a shipper. Also, as a note, the urn has been fixed to say Ami instead of I am now. And as we find out, or at least for the, before we get to the urn, we also find out that the village, the women do everything because they're the ones that get the channeling powers. The guys get nothing. So they kind of just fuck off after a while. That's why Pearl is a bit of a shipper, is that she's got a bit of... She's read one too many Romeo and Juliet fan fictions, essentially. But this is when Adrian shows up, and she tells us that she's the one who broke the urn again, and ended up getting paint on it, because there's pink specks on the urn now. And she tried to hide the paint with the statue, which is why she was confused why the statue was moved earlier in the episodes. That means they know that Luke moved the statue for some reason, but as to why, we don't know quite yet. At the CEO's office, they run into Gumshoe. They get details on the murder of how he was strangled to death and then shoved into the safe in his office. We also find out that there is a very loud-ass alarm in the office that Maya pushes the button on because you don't give Maya a big red button and expect her not to push it, essentially. Even if it says it's a loud alarm. She's got a bit of DD in her.
Yes.
And that is a reference that is going to confuse everyone younger listening to this. But the arms should have summoned security, and talking to Larry later, we find out that it was pushed last night, but security didn't come, aka Larry didn't come, because he was busy trying to get a date again. Because it's fucking Larry. We head back to Ron Detention Center. We find out that he went to the office to answer the blackmail letter that he got earlier. But he was knocked out by some unknown person and woke up to the CEO already dead. And he's the one that put him in the safe and ran away. Also, he is Mask to Mask, and he's been getting plans and stuff to do his thefts from a third party. After his first one, because his wife will not stop spending money, and the only way for him to support her is to steal stuff and be a phantom thief, which, damn, she must blow through money like nothing. They end up going to the Zeri next. They find out how they met, essentially. She tried to interrupt the bank robbery. Didn't quite work. Ron stepped in, knocked out the other two via dumb luck. Therefore, I love this guy. And that is how they ended up meeting and eventually getting married. But we end the episode with Pearl meeting back up with the pair. The urn is confirmed to be the real one. And Phoenix pieces together that Luke Adamley is not only the one behind all the mask-to-mask stuff, but he is also the one that killed the CEO. Meaning he needs to get Luke Adamley into his courtroom for the trial for Ron's trial, because they were both happening at the same time before Luke can get his get a not guilty verdict on theft. Which, to be fair, would be a completely unrelated crime. So that part wouldn't matter. Like, it doesn't really matter if Luke is declared guilty for the theft, because he did actually steal the urn, right?
I mean, yes, but we don't know that at the point that they're trying to do this.
Right. It just seems it's just an odd bit of tension thing to have this and be like, oh, we need to get him before he gets his guilty verdict because, well, we also can just prove that he anyway. That takes us to our last episode, which is the fourth part still in turnabout, episode 29. So court is in session for our pair of trials. We also get to meet the judge's brother, who is also a judge. He is just blonde because reasons. They're twins because they also share the same voice actor, I believe. Don't ask. It's weird. Godot lays out the case, puts Phoenix in the corner immediately. But Ron, on the stand, reveals that he was wearing the costume that night, which prevented him from being murdered because the mask is made of steel, apparently, from when he got knocked out by an ashtray. This is when Phoenix pushes the idea that a third party killed the CEO, because if Ron was knocked out and the CEO was murdered, well, someone else had to, push the button, because why the fuck would Ron push the button for security? So Phoenix says that the real killer is Luke and calls him in before he can get his guilty verdict in his trial. Phoenix pushes him on the theft and stuff, points out the statue's placement in the photo being off, meaning he had to move the statue because the photo is, while it's time stamped, it's not dated, meaning the theft is actually from earlier in like the couple weeks that the urn was at the exhibit. But when the statue arrived and got placed where the paint was, Luke had to scramble to figure out what to do next. But unfortunately, Phoenix is short on proof on his theory. And as Luke begins to point out, also points out that Ron wore the costume, the KB, that night, just loudly for everyone to hear. And Phoenix hears this clearly, but doesn't register that, oh, that's my play. Because Maya has to call Mia in real quick to tell him, hey, by the way, that's your turnaround. That's the turnabout. Is him saying that. You got this, Phoenix. It's okay. So Luke mentioning that, since that was only just now mentioned in the courtroom, means that Luke had to be there that night to see this, and that breaks him. So he confesses to everything, which it takes way too long for us to go through what the fuck Luke did in this confession. Right?
It seems like it, yes.
Okay. But yeah, he confesses to pretty much everything and how the plan played out. Thus, Ron is declared not guilty again. And Ron and Desiree kind of move on to good terms because Ron was worried that Desiree was going to hate him for being a thief and stuff. But she's like, nah, you send out calling cards and stuff. You're cool. It's fine. But Phoenix holding her hands as she's thanking him. When Pearl drops in, gets him slapped by Pearl. But we actually end off with Godot pondering the urn in a darkened courtroom as he's wanting to face Phoenix once more in court. And so that brings us to the end of Stolen Turnabout. How'd you feel about it by the end?
I almost feel like I almost feel like we kind of go a long route to get that.
Yep.
But I also feel like that might show how this season goes, kind of deal too.
Mm-hmm.
In terms of the whole you know, being able to tie everything together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, honestly, this has the loosest connections. Honestly, the only connections here are, and I'll just say them, are Godot and the fact that this case involved the theft of something related to the village. That's the only real connections to like what Ace Attorney 3 was doing. So essentially, this was just Godot's introduction.
Pretty much is.
But yeah, otherwise it's fine. It's the second case of the game without the context of the proper first case of the game. So we will roll on through then. So next week, we get our intermission case where we're dealing with baby Miles and baby Francesca doing a thing, and then it's all of Recipe for Turnabout. The 3 parts of that. But yeah, any other thoughts?
No, I don't have any.
All right. Also on the schedule, Thursday is more Duels of the Roses, as long as work doesn't break me. I hope. Friday will be more Star Citizen, which I've got my ships picked out. There would be a bike picked out, but apparently it's limited and it's unknown when it's going to pop up again. And I'm like, damn it, I like this bike. There's another bike adjacent thing that I wouldn't mind trying to pick up, but that would be only for a stupid idea. There's apparently a bike you can drive in space. Like, you can't go into orbit or anything like that, but you can drive it around in space.
I think I might know about that.
Yeah. Like, this is good for one dumb thing. Saturday will be us talking shop on games. We'll talk the Yakuza game series name change, the GTA 6 leaks. Fucking what else happened? Oh, the Direct, I guess, and the State of Play, because we also haven't talked about that on a TGS yet. Damn, it's a packed week. It's packed Saturday, isn't it?
Yep.
Damn. So I'll pack TGS for once. And that'll bring us around to next Sunday with more Ace Attorney. So if you like what you're seeing, folks, drop a follow. Really appreciate it. Chipping away at that affiliate goal. At TGZoon on Twitter gets you updates when live. Exclamation point, Discord chat gets this or link. Drop by, say hi. See you Thursday, folks.